welcome to Caesar's Snack Sandwich. Today I'm going to be taking a look at Balancer, Aura Finance, and Hidden Hand, and how these protocols all interact with each other. It's a little bit of a long explanation, so I'm going to go straight over to the little flowchart. But before I go there, I will remind you that you should probably come do your own research, read the docs, talk to the people in these various discords, and ask more questions and verify what I'm saying. So let's go over to the flowchart and let's get started. Okay, so here we are on the flowchart. We have Dollar Bill. He has some ETH and some ST ETH from Lido, and he wants to provide some liquidity. He wants to allow people to trade so he can make some money off of his tokens on top of what he's already making on his ST ETH, right? Now, he can go to Balancer. This is one of the options, and he can supply liquidity there. And so he will supply the liquidity as ETH, right? And he could supply liquidity as ST ETH, so he could put both of them into the pool, or he could single-sided either of them into the pool. Now, what makes Balancer special is that they are multi-token, meaning that they can house liquidity pools with more than 2 tokens. So I've seen, I think, 4 or 5. I don't know the maximum. I don't know if there is a maximum. But when you put too many, then it doesn't make sense. The pool will not function properly because the ratios of each token will be so low. Now, another possible thing here is their variant ratios. So these 2 tokens, they don't have to go in 50-50. They can go in 80-20 or 30-70, and maybe you have 3 tokens and you could have 30, 30, and 40, right? Or whatever, whatever ratios you want to use, you can set them up when you set up the pool, right? Now, in this case, it's this pool here, this Lido ST ETH, and ETH is a 50-50 pool on Balancer. And when you supply either of these tokens or both of them, you get a BPT, which is a Balancer pool token, okay? Now, one of the benefits you get for supplying liquidity is you get trading fees. So you get 50% of the trading fees. Now, they don't get sent to you. They just add to your position. So it's auto compounding. They just get added in there. And when you do withdraw or when you do break down this BPT, then that's your taxable event, depending on where you live, right? So the other 50% are stay for the protocol, and you will see where they go in a second. So now that you have this BPT, you can stake it in the Balancer gauge and earn BAL tokens, BAL tokens, the governance token of this protocol, the reward token as well. Now, what can you do with these Balancer tokens? First, you could sell them if you wanted, or you could pair them with ETH and get this Balancer BPT token, and you could then stake that, lock that for 1 to 52 weeks. Now, this Balancer token is 80-20, so 80% Balancer tokens, 20% ETH, right? So you don't need quite as much, right? So you could stake those, and that's what makes Balancer's locking mechanism different than a lot of other protocols in the ecosystem. Is it doesn't ask you to lock the governance token; it asks you to lock the LP tokens or the Balancer pool tokens. So people who lock are also supplying liquidity for people to buy and or sell the Balancer tokens. Okay, so they're increasing the liquidity of that token, which is good for the system, in my opinion. Now, most people will single-sided dump inside, so they are selling 20%, but at least they're not. So there is probably some more selling in here than if it was single-sided staking. But, that's up to you to decide which is better, like deeper liquidity or no selling, not selling 20%. So that's a question for you to decide. So when you lock these tokens inside here for 1 to 52 weeks, it's non-transferable. They get locked in the contract and you can't do anything. Now they do give you a boost on your rewards. As you can see, he's going to get like 3 tokens instead of 2 tokens, right? So they boost your rewards, and that all depends on the math of like how long you lock it, right? You lock it for more, it boosts you for more, and depending on how much assets you put in, there's the whole math inside. You'll have to dig a little bit deeper on that one. I don't have time to really get into that. Now, the trading fees, the other 50% of those trading fees I told you about, now they're going to be sent 25% to the treasury for, just doing what the treasury needs to do, right? And then 75% are sent to these lockers, and they're sent in the form of Balancer tokens, and BBUSD. Now, I did a video on BBUSD, and you can watch that video. I'll put a link to it at the end of this video. But basically, this is an LP token with stablecoins that are also put into Aave to gain yield. So it gains trading fees, and it also gains Aave interest from lending on Aave and so forth. So this is a pretty complicated token, and that has its own video, and you can dig deeper on that. So you're going to get these stable coins and balancer tokens from the fees. So of those 50%, 70% go to there, and 25% go to the treasury. Okay. Now, one more thing that these VE holders, or these locked token holders, right, VE BAL token holders, is they can also vote. Okay, now there's two things you can vote on: balancer improvement proposals. So any kind of proposal that the DAO has to change settings, or allow for this or allow for that, or the production of a new gauge for an LP token, right? And then also you can also vote on snapshot for the gauge weights. So where do the balancer tokens go? Which LPs get which balancer token from the total distribution for that? I think it's weekly or bi-weekly, I'm not sure. Okay, moving on. So the second player in this ecosystem is Aura. Now, so instead of putting your balancer pool token into the gauge directly, you can send it to Aura and let Aura to put it in the gauge for you. Okay. Now, why would you do that? Because Aura has a substantial amount of VE boost, so they're going to get a better boost than you, and you don't need to lock any of your balancer tokens if you don't want to, and you will still get the boost because it's a communal boost. Everyone who's locked balancer tokens via Aura will give you some of the boost, and I'll get to this when we go through it a little bit more. So when you stake your tokens, your BPT in here, they're going to lock in the gauge, and they're going to farm the balancer. Now, they're going to keep 25% of those balancer that are farmed, right? And they're going to give you 75%, okay? So you can come and claim these from Aura, but they're also going to give you the Aura token. So they make up for that. So they take 25%, but they subsidize that take with Aura tokens instead, right? So you're actually getting more because they're giving you a better boost than you probably get by yourself, and they're giving you this Aura token. So you'll end up with more even though they're taking 25%, okay? Now, these balancer tokens that you do get, they're yours. What can you do with them, right? So you can convert them into Aura BAL. Now, when you give your balancer tokens to the Aura BAL contract, it will max lock. So every time someone puts in there, it's just max lock, max lock, max lock. So these tokens will not come back. So this is basically how the protocol builds up its own VE BAL, right? However, they give you this Aura BAL token, which is transferable, and you can use it to exit this position if you want at any time, and some other things as well, okay? So two of the things you can do with the Aura BAL token is you can sell it, of course, also three things. So two things that you can do other than sell it is, one, you can add liquidity to the balancer, this balancer BPT, VE balancer BPT token, and not VE, sorry, just the balancer BPT balancer versus ETH 2080 token and the Aura balancer token. So this is an LP token paired with a Aura BAL token, and then you can trade out. So you can people can sell their Aura BAL through this pool to get ETH or balancer, right? So you can provide liquidity to that, and then you can stake that into the Aura. And then, of course, Aura will do the same thing. Anytime you stake an LP into Aura that they accept, they're going to put it in the gauge and farm the tokens for you. So you can do that to earn. So check out the APYs depending on the time you check it. And you can earn more balancer this way and more Aura as well, right? Or you can take that Aura and you can stake it, okay? Now, this protocol owns VE BAL, right? There's a whole bunch of VE BAL in here, and VE BAL get these tokens as trading fees, right? So those trading fees are then distributed to to the Aura BAL token stakers. So if you stake, you're going to get these trading fees from everyone who's who's supplied to Aura BAL, right? And you're going to get 20.5% of this 25%. So basically, you're going to get almost all of this 25%. So like this number and also where else it goes will add up to 20%. So it's not 20% of 25%. You're getting 20% of the total balancer that's going out. So that's going to stakers as well. So a whole bunch of Balance, a whole bunch of BAL, and a whole bunch of stablecoins going to these stakers. Okay, moving on. Now, these fees are also, the rest of them are going to two other possible places, and one is to the bots. There are a few cases where bots have to do some harvest calls for them, and those bots are getting 0.5%, and then 4% is going to the people who lock the Aura token. So I said before, you're getting Aura, right? So the Aura token, you have the choice to do two things as well. You can lock it and get this 4% of the balancer tokens, or you can add liquidity to this position here. So ETH Aura on balancer, and then stake that right into Aura and gain all of it again, right? So of course they're going to put it in the gauge farm and the fees and all this kind of stuff on this LP as well. So there's two options for your Aura tokens. Well, three. Again, you can sell it if you want, right? Moving on. If you lock your Aura, then you will also be able to get some votes. So this is how the protocol then uses its voting power. So it has the VE, right? The protocol owns this VE balancer. So they give the voting rights to the people who lock Aura. So if you lock Aura, then you get to direct the votes, okay? Now, if you hold Aura, so let's say Dollar Bill is the person who has locked this Aura into this contract, he has two choices. One is he can just directly vote on the snapshot himself, or he can delegate his vote to someone else, and then she can vote for him, right? Now, in comes Hidden Hand. Hidden Hand is a protocol that supports basically bribing for all of these protocols: Aura, Balancer, Floor, Frax, Saddle, Idle, Tokamak, and Ribbon Finance. So Dollar Bill can delegate his, or he can vote on Hidden Hand. All right. Now, what does Hidden Hand do? Hidden Hand allows people to bribe. So here we have Caesar, and Caesar has a LP on Balancer, let's say Caesar token versus BBUSD, and he bribes some Caesar tokens. He wants people to vote on his pool so that people will be like, oh, this pool's got a good APY, and they will supply liquidity to it, right? So he bribes, right? So if Dollar Bill votes on his pool, then he can get those bribes via Hidden Hand. Now, alternatively, he can just delegate to Hidden Hand, and Hidden Hand will then basically, as a DAO, will look at all the bribes and try to get him his best return on investment and make it a little bit more simple for him. Okay, so that's pretty much it for today. I hope this has been interesting and useful, and I thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.